From the PSIA-AASI satellite studios in Portland, Oregon. Yes, I said it before, but I've moved. The job called and still at Mount Hood Meadows, but I'm in Portland now. And what a guest we have for you tonight. Dale Drennan is joining us. And Dale gave a really powerful speech at National Academy this year after being awarded the Educational Excellence Award. Dale, first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Oh, George, I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. When you found out about that award, what was your emotion? Were you surprised? Were you caught off guard, or were you like, it's about time?
Well, actually, honestly, I didn't know the award existed, and so Eliza called me and told me about it, and I wasn't really quite sure what it entailed, but I knew it was this huge honor, and I came to kind of understand that more and more as time went on, and I was very excited to receive this award. I never thought really I would get anything like this.
Awarded something like this, the last thing they want to do is talk about themselves. But what do you feel really comprises educational excellence? What are the traits?
Oh, wow, George, that wasn't one of my questions.
I know.
um, oh, wow. I feel like, I love teaching. I not just skiing. I also teach English at Cal State Bakersfield. I've taught guitar. I've taught swimming. Uh, I just learn things, and I like to share them with other people. So I think that learning things is really fun, and I feel like educational excellence is helping people to understand that learning's a blast, and let's go for it, no matter what subject it is.
Has there ever been anything that you've undertaken as far as teaching goes that once you started doing it, you really didn't enjoy it?
As far as teaching, you mean? Say that part again.
Yes, the teaching aspect of it, where you kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of tough.
Well, yeah, I mean, um, you get classes of people that are resistant sometimes, um, people that don't really want to be in your class. Even in teaching skiing, you get people who came with their family, and that person that you have wanted to go to Florida for a vacation, and the rest of the family wanted to come to the mountains. And so you get that person, and that person is, uh, it can be unnerving, or it can be someone that you really try to get to like skiing and go, hey, let's just make the best of this. And how can we make this a great experience for you? So, but you do get people every now and then that it's very hard to connect with sometimes.
And what are some things? I mean, that sounds like almost a fun challenge in a way.
Mhm. Mhm.
What are kind of your emotions when a challenge like that takes place in your class? Because you could freeze, you could just think, oh my gosh, this is going to be the most miserable 3 hours of my life. Or can you step back? How do you get through that and really work toward making that connection with someone?
Well, it really depends on the person. I still remember one woman that I had that was definitely fit that scenario, and uh, she fell down. This was a cross country ski lesson, and she fell down and she started crying. And so I laid down in the snow next to her and looked at her, and I just said, I know you don't want to be here, but let's just try to make the best of this, and I think you can do this. And once she heard me kind of realize where she was coming from, we were able to put together a lesson that she actually enjoyed. came back the next day. So that's kind of what I try to do is just see what it takes, you know. So other times I've had when I started teaching at Brighton in Utah, um, I had teenagers that looked at me and thought, "Oh man, this is a woman. Forget it." And so I had to just not say anything and take them down a hard road, and they all have to wipe out, and then they listened to me after that. So those are the end members of that spectrum, I think.
So is Brighton your home mountain?
Oh, that was my first mountain.
It was, okay.
Yeah.
What is your, so first, what is your home mountain? But what's really been your journey through instruction? Where did you start? Where are you now? And tell us, really share
All
with
right.
us what you've gone through.
All right. I have to backtrack a little bit because I wanted to say that um, in 1957, my dad took me out of second grade to go skiing in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. And that's how my journey started. Uh, and after that, we moved to Connecticut. I skied there. I went to school at Middlebury College in Vermont. And from there, I had some friends that worked at Alta in Utah and worked there as a maid and waitress. So all the time improving my skiing, and decided to go back to school at University of Utah. And that's where I saw an ad that said, if you want to be a ski instructor, come to this class. So I went to the class, and the director there had 3 indoor classes and 3 on the mountain classes and a test. And I passed the test. And so I started skiing at Brighton. I started teaching at Brighton. And from there, he was very strong on PSIA at the time. And I worked on my certification and got my first certification at Brighton. So
And when was that?
uh, that was in the 70s. That was, yeah, a long time ago. Long time ago. So that was when Horst Abraham first came out with his, edge pressure rotary little blue book that was our Bible. Um, so, yeah, a long time ago.
You got me by a decade. I'm 80s.
Well, I wanted to put that out there because skiing was so different then than it is now. It's first of all, we didn't have snowboarding. Uh, cross country skiing was starting to come into visibility just a little bit. Things were a lot different then than they are now.
Oh, Nordic or telemark turns. I remember Crested Butte. There were just a limited number of people, and it was just, whoa, look at that.
Yeah. Well, I was there too. I skied in the Summit Telemark series. I raced in that at Crested Butte for a couple of years. Did okay, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So, what parts of sliding on snow do you teach now? You were telling us about someone you had a cross country lesson with. Do you teach telemark? What all do you teach?
Um, well, I basically teach telemark and cross country now. I'm certified as Alpine, but honestly, I don't even have any Alpine equipment anymore because I can make Alpine turns on my telemark skis. I'm sure my Alpine buddies would say it's not the same, and I know it isn't, but I'm okay with that. But um, I did do snowboarding for a while, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Um, but I just like lifting my heel off the piece of equipment. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I just love Nordic skiing so much.
And what mountain are you at now?
Well, I would say my home mountain is Mammoth Mountain, but I taught skiing at Copper Mountain for 23 years,
Oh,
and
wow.
I have a lifetime pass there. So and we have a place in Colorado. So I'm a very dedicated PSA member. I'm a member of 2 regions, Rocky Mountain and Western. So I just go back and forth every winter between those 2 places.
And do you teach in both regions?
Well, I basically work for PSIA now, so
Okay.
yes, I do events for PSIA in both regions. Yeah. So,
And why did you stick with this for so long? You started in 1957 in the Poconos, and here you are now, very close. I mean, this has become your life.
well, it's just everything is kept changing. I feel like I'm a way better skier now than I was like in my 40s or 50s, even because the equipment got so much better. uh that the way we were telemark skiing back then compared to how we do it now is completely different. So that's one thing, is just the evolution of the equipment, but it's just so much fun. uh, I mean, being outside and with friends, and trying to get people to have fun outdoors, away from the cares and worries of life. What's better than that, right?
About how many days of winter are you teaching?
Not enough. Uh, I, I, I'm a part-time person. I'm probably part-time in just about everything that I do, because I just keep getting my finger in all these different pies. Uh, I'm a musician as well, and I teach at Cal State University. So I only really get to teach maybe 10 days a season altogether right now, because I'm kind of, like semi-retired at this point in my life. I mean, like you say, I'm older than you, so uh,
Oh no, I wasn't saying you had a decade on me there. You had a decade on me in where you were teaching and when.
yeah, I've taught at 5 different ski areas in my life. Um, so Brighton. Then when I moved to Colorado, I taught a little area called Geneva Basin, which doesn't exist anymore. And then I taught at Copper Mountain for 23 years. And then I taught snowboarding 1 year at Mammoth Mountain. And then I taught a few years at an area here in California called China Peak, which is a cute little area outside of Fresno that I love very much. So, but it just became easier for me to just, when we had the drought out here, it became easier for me to just buy a season pass and go ski at Mammoth. So that's how it kind of evolved.
So what was your story that you shared at National Academy? Can you share some of that with us?
Okay. Uh, well, all right. I have to. Can you see this
Oh yeah.
right here? Okay. So I was explaining how my first employer, Dwayne Vigos, trained us in the classroom. And back then, we didn't have even an overhead projector, right? We had nothing. But he had indoor sessions to explain to us kind of the how the equipment worked, and just some indoor concepts that he wanted to show us. And so he would take 2 pencils, and unfortunately I have one pencil and one pen here. But he he would um he would say, okay, now if you have a long ski, then if you're trying to carve that ski, then it's going to make a big arc like this, right? But if the ski is shorter, then you're carving the ski, then it's going to be a shorter arc, because the ski is shorter and the side cut is different than on the longer ski. So that's one of the things he was trying to explain, that I showed it in my speech. And then uh, you know I didn't sleep very well the night before the speech, and so at 2 o'clock in the morning, it suddenly dawned on me that even though we didn't telemark ski then, that you could explain telemark skiing by saying, okay, so you can make your turn by moving this ski ahead and then turning the skis in telemark, or you can make your turn by turning the skis first and then changing your lead. And that's what people really liked. And I left my pencils on the podium, and the next person really liked it and said they were going to give those pencils away as a gift, which they did. So, but yeah, I mean, it does kind of help, because a lot of people, most people think this is the way you telemark turn, and you actually release the edge and then you can start changing your lead. So I think the pencil approach kind of works.
It actually was a really great visual. Thank you.
Yeah, did you like that? See, yeah. See, you didn't have an overhead projector, or, a YouTube, TikTok video or anything.
So, Dale, what would you say to a young instructor, male, female, doesn't matter, who's just coming into it and is having they love what they're doing, but it's tough to make ends meet? Why should they stay with it?
Well, that's a good question these days. I think things have really changed a lot since when I was teaching. I could, make a living just having one job and being employed that way, but things are much more difficult now. I I think that's a lot of the reason why I shifted to part-time. And I think part-time is a really good way to go, because you can still get all the stimulation, the education from PSIA as a part-time instructor, but you can still maybe be making some money some other way. Uh, we were very fortunate to invest in property near ski areas, and
Oh,
so
wow.
we were not able, or we were able to kind of have places to stay. Like when we came to California, it was a really bad time for real estate, but great for buying, because they had some earthquakes. And so we bought a condo there that, now is worth a whole lot of money, but then was not bad. So that's one way to go, that way. Uh, but I just think there's so much to be learned from PSIA, that I've just always really loved being a member of this organization, and the people are great.
I really can't ask you for any final words after that. That was a beautiful conclusion. But anything that you would like to say to the membership to wrap things up?
Um, I guess one of the things they asked me if I could give some advice to people. I remember as a younger instructor, it was a little hard to take feedback. I got a little defensive with it, saying, well, this is why I made my turn this way or that way. And I feel like it's easy to think you're being attacked personally, but if you have a good mentor, they're trying to help you, and they're trying to make your skiing even better than what it is. And so I think it's really good to try to listen to whatever feedback that you get, and really try to implement what the people are saying to you, rather than saying, oh no, I know what I'm doing, and you're wrong about this feedback. So I think that's one of the things I've learned through the years.
Well, Dale Drennan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us on First Chair. I've really enjoyed visiting with you.
I've enjoyed visiting with you too, George. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
From the PSIA-AASI Satellite Studios in Portland, Oregon, I'm George Thomas.